High School Musical, the series, the episodes, the show, the title, the name, the very, very, very long name of a television show, the reimagining special, the Disney Plus original program, the movie, no excuse me, the series is here. And we can finally talk about if this second season was worth it. Hi fellow Disney Plus watchers, this is Thoughts After Disney Plus Watch, where we review everything new Disney Plus coming out, and I'm glad you're watching. This is the channel that's specifically about movies, shows, and all that's Disney Plus original stuff. The first season of High School Musical, I'm not saying the whole title every time, was a bit of a surprise for me. It worked better than I anticipated after seeing the trailers. It looked a bit too glossy, polished, and middle-of-the-road average teen soapy for me, but when I actually gave it a shot, I found myself quite invested in a lot of the characters, and personally, having some experience with musical theater, I found all the rehearsals, the warm-ups, the pre-show nerves, and how all that was portrayed within the show super relatable and charming. And I've never watched the original High School Musical, and just like that, I now probably still have like 20% of my audience left, but I don't care, this show works on its own. So just a fair warning here before we start talking about Season 2, I do want to discuss spoilers, so you can press that watch later button if you haven't seen all of Season 2 yet. Still here, let's do this. Season 2 is not about High School Musical, despite the title, but actually about Beauty and the Beast, and it would confuse the hell out of everyone if they would rename the show Beauty and the Beast, so I get it. We once again follow the entire cast of characters from the previous season, and we find them stuck in this rat race, trying to beat North High in delivering a Beauty and the Beast play to compete at the Menkies Awards. In the meantime, Ricky and Nini, who are still the focus of this series, are having a hard time maintaining their relationship, first having to live through a long distance relationship, then when Nini decides to return home, Ricky's gotta get used to the fact that she wants more space for herself, and they eventually break up. And this season was full of great moments. Nini coming to terms with the reality that the school she worked so hard for was making her miserable, and her talking with Miss Jen in the car, that scene was magnetic. Nini asking about when Miss Jen finally started to realize that Broadway wasn't her dream, and Miss Jen telling about the little girl who threw up over her sheet music, revealing the one phrase, "Let it go." Scenes like that are very powerful, I think. Speaking of letting go, I think this is definitely a running theme in this season. The breakup scene between Ricky and Nini near the end of the season is also very effective, because it's fueled with tension. They both know it's probably ending, but they both don't want it to happen. They argue like, the last time we had a conversation like this, we eventually broke up, and Nini asking, "Are we breaking up?" I thought it was such a good scene, as it was not the typical breakup scene where one has to break the heart of the other. This was a mutual understanding. It's not working anymore. In general, the relationship between Ricky and Nini was really well done, going from having a long distance relationship, which means forced to be apart, to crazy in love but now being too close to each other, resulting in Nini pushing away and desiring more self-dependence. I thought this was a really good, natural, progressing story that also says something about feeling independent, growing up, being autonomous. Also, I think my absolute favorite storyline in this whole season was the one where Gina was stuck on the airport and meeting this boy who she felt safe around opening up. She says, "I am never someone to really open up." And the boy responds with, "Well, you can practice on me." So she does, and even though they know they can't see each other again, leaving Gina with the feeling, why, was this over nothing? And there was EJ, the boy she does have a crush on but was still struggling to really open up to, and there she realizes, oh wait, meeting this boy was exactly what I needed. And the way this scene was performed, along with what it meant, it was beautiful. It really, really got to me. But with all that said, I think this show, and specifically Season 2, do have its big flaws. The battle against North High, for example, is not all that interesting to me. The group breaking into the school and stealing props and stuff, the silly dance-off that led to nothing really, just a cool looking scene, I guess. I mean, it's fine, but personally it didn't engage me at all. Reason being, the characters from North High are completely stereotypical douchebags as far as we get to know them, and really we only get to know two of them. The bitchy Lily character and the French guy, "Why is that your boyfriend? Look at me." The East High group are such likable characters, and it makes sense that we follow them way more on this journey, of course, but it is a shame that we only got to see a few of the North High characters, and they're really not doing anything other than just be douchebags. We just got too little to feel like they are threatening. Yeah, we hear a lot of stuff like they have better costumes, they managed to get the original Broadway set, but we almost exclusively hear stuff like this from Miss Jen, and I didn't feel like there was enough reason to care about this group of North High kids or to fear them. The stakes of the story are mostly being told to us. Why not have one running storyline through the show that follow the North High kids and make us hate them and root for East High even more? That's what I think is so good about Lily trying to get close to Ricky, is that through these kind of interplay, there's an interesting setup there. Lily is being really nice to Ricky and stuff and asks him out and all, but all Ricky's friends are seeing her as this enemy. So Ricky's in a tough position, and that's some potentially interesting tension to build on. Problem for me though is that they only really introduced this in the 10th episode, and if this was to be built up during the whole season, well, I would care way more about the North High cast being a real challenge and threat to them, because now there's something personal to connect it with. Though you could say them stealing the Beast mask was something that would be personal for them, for the whole cast essentially, including Miss Jen. So I don't want to contradict myself, but I do feel this Lily and Ricky dynamic was a bit of a missed opportunity, as I felt there was some presence lacking from the North High kids, you know? And this is the moment where I'll contradict myself again, because this season also had a little too many storylines, to be honest. I like a lot of them, but it's just too much, I think. The best example, I think, is the whole back and forth between Courtney and Pizza Guy? I can't even remember what they were fighting about at one point, because I found myself completely zoned out every time the show decided to cut back to it. This colleague of her was solely for Courtney to have something to do in the show, I guess, but it felt a bit inconsequential to me. There were so many love stories already, did we really need this one? Oh, and I think the absolute worst thing about this series is these damn video clips that are plugged into the narrative like they're not even humble about it. Don't get me wrong, I enjoy the musical aspect of this show. The cast performing this Gaston song is really enjoyable for me, for example. This is real people giving a real performance then and there. Well, there's some cute instrumentals in the background, but still it's musical theater. It's playful and entertaining to watch. So of course I'm all for a show about high school musicals to be featured, high schoolers who do musical. But these phoned in, over-processed, auto-tuned, really obnoxious music videos are really a bad symptom of our times. Damn, what a way to completely throw me out of a story. The song when they absolutely wasted a potential great moment where Nini sits in the bus and makes up her mind. I mean, the dramatic decision of not going is within the context of this video clip. It's right there within this bad video clip. But the absolute worst piece of content, and yes, I'm not calling it a scene, that's ridiculous. It's a disconnected piece of music media within this show. Please debate me on this if you disagree, but oh my god, that song 1, 2, 3, what a terrible display. Oh my god. Yes, their dance moves within this clip are skilled, I know, that's fine, but throwing in such a music clip that's completely over-sexualized, completely stripped away from anything resembling these characters that are performing it, this doesn't happen often, but I almost felt ill watching this. It also came so sudden in the middle of a fine episode of TV that it was really hard to watch. It was really bad, really bad. Things like this drag this down and remind me that this show still panders to people who are probably watching this show for the music and the songs on Spotify or whatever. And hey, I'm a soundtrack guy. Well, original soundtracks and scores, but whatever, I get it. Watching film also for the music, that's totally me. But this show dragged itself down to mediocrity in my opinion by having these distasteful music videos with overly compressed vocals. And you know, the song Something in the Air, the season 2 opener, that one was okay for me. Because we see all these high schoolers we know from season 1 actually making a video clip then and there, and it was a quite decent way of opening a season. Everyone gets their moment, it was okay. Also again, because they were making a music video right then and there. That's different. And then let's talk a bit about the ending, because the show tries the classic, it was the journey, not the end goal all along trope card, and I think overall the final episode which premiered today, certainly had a lot of good moments, but the ending overall wasn't that satisfying to me, as I think it didn't really work for me, the whole cast sitting at Slices, eating pizza, and thinking, hey, you know what, we don't even want to know if we're in the Menkies. Just shove the envelope into the pizza oven and we'll never talk about it again. Capiche? Again, I know it was the journey with all of you good friends, it was the road to it all, we're not striving for the big awards. We're doing it all for ourselves. I'm perfectly fine with that sentiment, that's a good trope to kinda end this series on, but it doesn't make sense. Cause please correct me in the comment section if I'm wrong, but they were supposed to do Beauty and the Beast again at the Menkies, right? They're expected to perform there, and you just don't care if you're expected? What if you're scheduled to do the musical and you just didn't know, nobody shows up? It's kinda rude. I felt like the show wasn't elevated at all by the cast deciding to leave the Menkies and just abort the mission because they're there for each other and all that, but rather it devalues the whole build-up of this show in a way. The payoff doesn't work for me. Overall, there's great characters within this show, there's some good humor. I love stressed out Miss Jen. I love Ricky and Nini and their relationship struggles. All felt very real to me. I'm rooting for the characters. I really enjoy some musical numbers like the Gaston song, but the ending's a bit weaker than the build-up. The North High cast are a bit cardboard, stereotype kind of characters. Ricky and Lily's interplay was introduced too late into the show to really have an impact. The show suddenly going pop song video clip was really distasteful and jarring for me and dragged the show down into the sewer every time it did that, in my opinion. I would say I would give it a 6 out of 10. It has a lot of redeeming qualities and maddening stuff at the same time. Season 1 was definitely stronger, especially the ending was better. I'm thinking about wrapping this up. Thank you so much for watching. I'm curious, what did you think of this show, and specifically Season 2? Be sure to let me know in the comment section. Don't forget, if you enjoy the idea of discussing Disney Plus content with us, that red button looks familiar, right? Did you like this video? Then be sure to consider giving that a click. Thanks. For now, have a wonderful day and see ya!